All right, it's KP's Video News, y'all. And wow, do I have some stories for you today? I got some stories, man. I got some stories. Yep. And I'm gonna start off with this story here that makes absolutely positively no sense. But you know, they got a lot of people out there, for whatever reason, they want to get convicted murderer, ex-cop Derek Chauvin out of prison. So, but the Attorney General of Minnesota says ongoing efforts to petition Trump for a federal pardon for Derek Chauvin, the former police officer who took the life of George Floyd in 2020, are irrelevant when it comes to his state conviction, noting that Chauvin still owed the state of Minnesota 22 and a half years. He's not getting out, said Keith Ellison in an interview. Said Chauvin, 49 years old, is currently serving concurrent state and federal prison sentences for taking the life of George Floyd during a police incident in which he knelt on Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes. Chauvin was convicted by a 12-member jury on state charges for unintentional second-degree homicide, third-degree homicide, and second-degree manslaughter. He later pleaded guilty in a federal civil rights case to depriving Floyd of his rights. Conservative pundits and ally Musk have promoted a push to secure a federal pardon for Chauvin in recent months. On March 4th, right-wing commentator Shapiro launched an online petition on his video podcast urging viewers to support the effort. And, so Chauvin was sentenced to 21 years in federal prison for civil rights conviction in June 2021, but he was given 22 and a half years in state charges in April 2021. And the U.S. Supreme Court rejected an appeal from Chauvin in his state case in 2023. Yep. So, said Ellison stated that he think they're pushing for it because they want to agitate and outrage people. Yep. I don't know if he's going to pardon Chauvin or not, but if he does, it doesn't change the prison sentence. He still owes Minnesota 22 and a half years, and he's going to do it either in Minnesota or somewhere. Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, that's either way. He can pardon him all he wants to on those federal charges, but those state charges, he cannot pardon those state charges, and he's going to have to stay exactly where he is, man. Stay where you are, right in the pokey, right where you belong to be, because you are a menace to society. All right, here's a second story here. We got Governor of California, Gavin Newsom, that urges California cities and counties to ban homeless encampments. So Governor Newsom stated today that he urged California's local governments to clear homeless encampments, escalating the state's effort to ban the growing number of makeshift camps on sidewalks and in parks that are most visible signs of the crisis of people living on the streets. Announcement of the new model ordinance for counties, cities, and towns is coupled with the release of $3.3 billion in voter-approved funds the state would make available to communities to expand housing and treatment options for homeless residents, the governor's office stated in a news release. The goal is to help Municipalities set rules around encampments and establish effective enforcement procedures, prioritizing shelter and services. Encampments pose a serious public safety risk and expose the people in encampments to a risk of violence, criminal activity, property damage, break-ins, and unsanitary conditions and disease. In 2024, voters approved a measure in the state of California imposing strict requirements on counties to spend on housing and drug treatment programs to tackle the homeless crisis. It was a signature proposal for Newsom, who campaigned for the measure's passage. Under the measure, counties are required to spend about 2/3. Wow. 2/3 of the money. Why not all of it? 2/3 of the money. Why not all of the money? From a voter approved and enacted in 2004 for mental health services or housing and program to homeless people for serious mental illness or substance abuse. The key provisions of the model ordinance announced Monday include prohibitions on persistent camping in one location, a ban on encampments blocking sidewalks, and a requirement local officials provide notice and make every reasonable effort to identify and offer shelter to clearing an encampment. The state accounts for nearly 1/3 of the homeless population in the United States. More than 187,000 Californians are in need of housing. With tents lining streets and disrupting businesses in cities and towns across the state, homelessness has become one of the most intractable issues in California, and one sure to hurt Newsom if he runs for national office. The governor has pushed for laws to make it easier to force people with behavior issues into treatment. State audit in 2024 found California spent $24 billion to tackle homelessness over the previous 5 years, but did not consistently track whether the huge outlay of public money actually improved the situation, despite the roughly billions of dollars spent on more than 30 homeless and housing programs during the 2018 and 2023 fiscal years. California does not have reliable data needed to fully understand why the problem didn't improve in many cities, according to state auditors' report. I'm gonna tell you exactly why you're not seeing any results. You are not creating any affordable housing for these people to live in. The majority of these people that you see out on the street that are homeless are out there because they cannot afford. So let me say it again. These are working people that cannot afford to pay the super high rents in the state of California, and those super high rents are as a result of the state of California getting rid of rent controls. They have had rent controls in place for over 30 years. Then all of a sudden they got rid of the rent control. So once they got rid of the rent control in the state of California, the greedy landlords jacked the prices up of the rental property so high that only a person that's wealthy would be able to afford it. $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month rent. So how can you possibly afford that when you have the actual minimum wage job in the state that's only paying you, paying you less than $500 a week? So that would give you, if you were getting paid $500 a week, that would give you $2,000 a month. If the rent's $2,000 a month, how do you eat? How do you make it back to work? How do you put gas in your car if you got a car to go? Most of these people out here that have jobs are sleeping in their cars, in their vehicles. And then I guess they're washing up at work and washing up at McDonald's, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I'm gonna give you the 17 reasons why the state of California is so high. Like I just said, The high demand and low supply of housing, you know, high demand and low supply of affordable housing. Yep. Expensive housing costs. Expensive, way too high. Expensive housing costs. The state in the statewide in the state of California, the median home price is $821,000. That's the average cost of a home in California. $821,000, man. I said before, super high rent prices. A one-bedroom apartment, man, is $2,000. $2,000 a month. I mean, just a regular little studio apartment, man, is $1,500. Yeah. Yep. The high cost of land. They talk about the high cost of land. You know, that's one of the reasons. But nah, you got strict building codes. You got all these building codes that are super high. Regulations, state regulations. The high state income tax. You got high state sales taxes. Yeah. Yep. California has also has the highest state sales tax at 7.25%. And the counties and cities also add their taxes to that. And you got some cities that have taxes that are over 10%. Yep. Yeah, that Proposition 13, man. Proposition 13 just made the average property taxes jump up. When they got rid of Proposition 13, they kept everything at a certain level, man. They really, really messed it up. So then you got expensive health care in the state of California. You got the high cost of car insurance, the high cost of gas prices. The average gas right now for regular gas, total gas price of $5.79 per gallon. Per gallon. That's because you got the regulations, greenhouse emissions, and the California state taxes that they charge, over $1.50 of state taxes. Groceries are high. Groceries are high. They're $228 more than the national average. Utilities are high. Utilities are high. So that's even though California has an economy which is super high, but that comes from your because it has so many crops and stuff that they grow there, and they got a lot of oil there, and they got TV and they got movies and tourism and all of that. But all that stuff is going to suffer now because a lot of people won't be coming here from a lot of other different countries because of all the crazy restrictions that they have on people coming to the country. And so that's going to really hurt. That's going to really hurt the California tourism. So they got technology, Silicon Valley, where they, computer tech and all that stuff. Yeah. So even though they claim that California is a high income state, where the average person averages about 78,000, but that's not. That's like 2, 3, 4, 5 people living in the house sharing everything. The high labor costs, the high education, highly educated workers. You got a lot of educated workers there, but you got all these different companies, man. You got Wells Fargo, Apple, Oracle, Facebook, Intel, Cisco Systems. You got all these different companies that are in the state of California, but the people cannot afford, the people that have the average job or the minimum wage job, and they raised the price, I think, to like $15, I think it was, to people that work at McDonald's, I believe. And then what did McDonald's do? They started firing people when they came up with the state law for them to have to pay these people a decent wage, which makes no sense. You still, if you have a person working, and say your McDonald's is open 24 hours a day, and you're like, well, we got to cut back. Now you still going to have a workforce to keep your business in play. So the people that you fired, you still going to have to turn around and hire some new people. Other than that, you will have to close your doors at midnight and not stay open 24 hours a day. Okay, so here we go. And I know we got those MAGA people out there that are freaking out right now because the Catholic newspaper says Leo, the new pope, might be the first black pope. Prominent Catholic newspaper is among those suggesting that Pope Leo the 14th may be the first black pontiff. Yep, citing census records over a century old, wrote that Leo's maternal grandparents identified themselves as mulatto. And mulatto is a combination that refers to mix with African and European ancestry. Yeah, so his people was from New Orleans down there, man. So, you know, hey, as such, Leo could be considered the first black pope in the history of the Catholic Church. Leo, 69 years old, was born in 1955 and raised on the south side of Chicago, which already made him a trailblazer as the first American pope. And he has not publicly addressed his racial identity, muddying the waters on whether he considers himself mixed race or not. Adding to the ambiguity, census record reviewed showed his parents identified as white back as far as 1920. Leo's maternal grandparents were residents in the 7th Ward of New Orleans before they moved to Chicago in the early 1900s. So the neighborhood is predominantly Catholic and was a melting pot of people with African, Caribbean, and European roots. So, you know, hey, so his grandfather was born in Haiti, and his grandmother was was a Creole, was a native of New Orleans. So the Vatican released an official bio for Leo, but omitted intricate details about his extended family tree. Yep. So, you know, they said he is the son of Louis Prevost of French and Italian descent, and Mildred Martinez of Spanish descent. The Vatican said he has 2 older brothers, Louis, the eldest, and John, the middle child. Oh boy, brother Leo, the Black Pope. We got the Black Pope, man. So, oh man. So Jari Honora, a New Orleans genealogist, first flagged Leo's ties to the city as his mulatto grandparents. Leo's brother John confirmed to the Times the records reviewed by Honora pertain to his grandparents. Honora worked at a historic New Orleans collection. He said he discovered that Leo's grandfather was listed as black in the 1900 census, which also said he worked as a cigar maker. Honora said this shored up the belief that the Pope's grandparents were people of color. No doubt about it. What this means for Leo and his racial identity is clear. And he and his brothers never discussed their apparent Creole roots, and that his paternal grandparents had come to Chicago from France. Scholars have expressed that racial identity encompasses more than ancestry and accounts for personal experience and cultural affiliation. Stop lying. Stop lying. So basically what you're trying to say is that a person's racial identity is more than his ancestry and accounts for personal experiences and cultural affiliation. Get out of here with that nonsense. Get out of here. So if I go by that theory, what that's stated, that means if I lived around a lot of white people or Hispanics or Asians, let's say I've lived around a bunch of Japanese people, you're saying that because of my cultural experience, my personal experience, and my cultural affiliation with the Japanese people, that would make me Japanese? Or if a white person lived in the inner city and that lived in the inner city with black people, that would make him black? Because of his personal experiences and his cultural affiliation? Yeah, okay. I can blow that out the water right away. Oh man, these people are crazy. And MAGA is freaking out. They already don't like Leo because Leo is anti-Trump. He's against all of the foolishness that Trump is trying to do. All of the stupidity that he's trying to do. He's against all of that. So they already don't like him. And now they double down and they double hate him now that they discovered that he's black. It's like Mariah Carey's black. Yep. Okay. It's funny, man. This is so funny. All right. California, back in California's story. California tackles a hate incidents at stores and other businesses. California Civil Rights Department is launching a first of its kind statewide pilot program to help businesses that opt in to respond to hate and discrimination. Resources to be provided by the department include training of civil rights protections at businesses, bystander intervention, technical support, and sexual harassment prevention. Launched as a result of the passage of Assembly Bill 2448, Welcome In is one of several initiatives created in direct response to reported increase in hate and discrimination in California and across the country in recent years. In addition to training materials and resources, businesses that fulfill the criteria will be recognized by the department with a certificate and public recognition on a department database. And roughly a third of Californians who experience hate were targeted while at a business. So this is out of an estimated 2.6 Californians, 8% of the state who reported directly experienced at least one act of hate in 2022 and 2023, according to the same study. An estimated 5 million Californians, 15%, witnessed at least one act of hate within the same time frame. So they're trying to address it here by, coming up. So California state law prohibits businesses from discriminating against anybody in California's jurisdiction for any reason: sex, race, color, religion, ancestry, national origin, age, disability, medical condition, genetic information, marital status, sexual orientation, citizenship, primary language, or immigration status. It applies within every type of business. So California got some strict laws over there, strict rules and regulations. Okay, folks, it's been KP's Video News, man, and I'm excited. I'm excited about some of these things, but yep. KP Video News, y'all. That's right, KP Video News, y'all. Y'all stay tuned.